I'm probably asked this question on a weekly basis at least one time, and it's something that I thought people may have been more aware of, but because I get asked this so many times, I think that this topic is a valuable topic to cover. But before we get into the question, I do see that 75% of the people who come to this channel are not subscribed. So if you could please just take a second to subscribe to this channel, that would be great, so you'll get alerted when new videos just like this come out. So the question, how to not be sore after a workout. So I would say usually my chats with people go a little bit like this. So a person tells me how sore they are after they worked out, and I give them a little bit of a look and I say, did you do a leg day? And they end up saying yes. Okay, so why is this a big deal? Why do we want to avoid being really sore after a workout? So I think that this is a big deal because there's two different types of motivation that we need to consider to make sure that people exercise consistently. Now, one type of motivation is called reflective motivation, and a lot of people have this type of motivation for exercise. So it's logical, it's intentional. This is when you say, I know exercise is good for me. I know I should be doing it. For example, I know the health benefits of strength training. I know it's going to help with my bone mineral density. I know it's going to help with my blood sugar. I know it's going to help with my physical functioning. A lot of people have this existing intention or this reflective motivation. Now, researchers often use a metaphor to describe this, and this metaphor is of a horse and a rider. So the rider is your reflective motivation. It can tell the horse where to go, but only for a little while. You can will yourself to exercise any number of times. The issue is with consistency. But the other side of motivation, which is called reflexive motivation, is more emotional, and in this metaphor, it's the horse. If the horse wants to go somewhere other than where the rider wants to go, it's going to go there. So this is often when people feel ambivalence towards exercise. So I want to exercise, that's the rider talking, but I also don't want to exercise. That's the horse talking, if horses could talk. Now this causes ambivalence. And there's a lot of different reasons for ambivalence in exercise, but when it comes to strength training, having that association of being like catastrophically sore after a workout is not going to help you stick to your training routine. So I do not want people to be so sore that they can't get up the stairs, or I would say, so I can't get off the toilet. I do not want you walking around like you feeling like you have the legs of a newborn giraffe after you do a leg day. I think we should try to avoid this situation because I don't want anyone to set up a routine that interferes with their goal of being consistent. So how do we avoid being so sore? Now, resistance training has several variables that we need to understand, because if we understand them, we can subsequently change them to make sure that we are not too sore in our training sessions. So the first variable is the exercises that you select. Now, the exercises that you select in a training session describe what is called a training split. Okay, so your training split might be full body. Now, full body just means that each time you train, you are targeting all major muscle groups within a session. So you train your upper body muscles and you train your lower body muscles all in the same exact training day. You might have heard of other splits out there. So you might have heard of an upper lower body split. This is when you train your upper body on one day and then you train your lower body on another day. You might have even heard of another training split, which is a muscle-based training split. So for example, somebody might say, I went to the gym today, I trained chest, I trained back, maybe I even trained quadriceps, like a specific part of your lower body. So each exercise has an associated number of sets, repetitions, and also the load that is being used. So a set is just a series of repetitions. It's the number of times that you do an exercise. For example, if I lift a weight 10 times in a row before I rest, that's a single set of 10 repetitions. If I do another set of 10 repetitions after I rest, I just did 2 sets. Now, the last component is load, or the weight that you use. So sets times reps times load makes up what is called your training volume. Now, the more advanced you are, the more training volume you can handle on a single muscle group. So let's say I did a goblet squat exercise for 3 sets of 10 repetitions with 10 pounds. So that's 3 times 10 times 10, or 300 pounds of training volume. So if I'm new to strength training, I want to spread the training volume out among different muscle groups in a training session. So I want to do a full body routine. So if you're new, you should be doing full body training routines. But the more advanced somebody becomes with a greater training age, the more volume they can handle on each muscle group. So if you were too sore on any muscle group, you did too much training volume in relation to your training age. I'll also add that if you've taken a large amount of time off between your training sessions, please don't try to go immediately back to where you were. Start conservatively. If going back to where you were is going to be a recipe for being probably too sore within the next 24 to 48 hours later. So if you were too sore with strength training, or if you're experiencing that and that is a barrier to you being consistent, if you're new to exercise, I would really recommend doing a full body routine. If you're doing something else that's causing you to be too sore, move over to a full body training routine. And from there, if you still are too sore, the easiest way to cut down on your training volume is to just reduce the number of sets that you're doing. And I would highly recommend don't train until failure, meaning don't lift a weight until you can't lift it anymore. Now, over time, you still do want to progressively increase your training volume. So maybe you're starting out with 2 sets, go from 2 sets to 3 sets, and gradually increase the weight that you are using as well, slowly but surely. So I hope that this helps. I hope you like this video, and I hope that you consider subscribing to this channel so that you can get alerted when the next video like this comes out. And if you have any strength training related questions, please drop that in the comments and I'll be able to make a video about that.